GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good? Go! GMGP. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is. The Canadian Jordan Richards. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, bright and early, 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. JRich, I'd already had to favorite a comment from Mason. Mason Villa wants to know, Ray, when are we going back to 5 days a week and an hour earlier? JRich, want to know when we're going back to, you see, got the dog whisperer on in the background, JRich. We got that Caesar.
I was wondering what that was.
Back there talking to them dogs. And let me tell you right now, Mason, we ain't doing that. That ain't going to happen. We got to make a lot more money for us to go 5 days a week and an hour earlier. He said those were the good old days. We ain't making Wake Up great again. We ain't going back to 5 days a week, 7 a.m. That cannot happen, JRich. But we got the people in the building. What's going on, Jacob, Dro C, Joe Hours, Young Doolin in the building, Ricardo, James Young, Derek B, Graphic, Hank, MV Prof. Hey, them ain't my Ravens. I am not a Ravens fan.
Oh, really?
No, I've never been a Ravens fan ever. I like Lamar Jackson, that's about it. Taylor, Daniel Perry, what's going down with you? Josh in the building, Godfrey in the building, Dio, Kevin, what's going on, baby? JRich, how are you doing this morning? Why I get the whisperer off before we get copyright by YouTube? How you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, it's honestly, shout out to Mason, really, at the end of the day, because if you were with us back when we were 5 days a week, an hour earlier, man, like that was a long time ago. Like
shooting it, they wasn't with us shooting in the gym, right? JRich, at 7 a.m., 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m., 5 days a week. Man,
Ray, when I tell you, dude, I used to wake up at like 5 a.m. every day. I was always up early because we had to do show prep, and it's like, oh my goodness, that was the worst. And we were so late. News never broke on the show.
Never.
We were so early. Nothing ever broke. The only thing that ever broke once was the Joel Embiid contract extension with the Sixers randomly at like 7:30 in the morning when we were on the show. It was crazy. But yeah, man, I'm definitely glad to be later. We got more people up, right, when we do the show, which is good for the audience, right? Get more people involved in the lives.
Not be going.
But
those were rough days, man. But I'll just say we were getting paid a lot of money to do that, and if they want to run that back, right? we could do it then, right? We could do it then, Jay. But we got a lot to talk about. The people in the building. We had. Oh, Jay, can you still hear me, Jay?
No signal, Ray. We hear you, but no signal.
The camera. So I was messing with the camera. The camera messed up, JRich. Let me get the camera going. Go ahead and talk about we're gonna get into the Monday Night Football games here in a second once the camera gets back up, JRich.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm already getting asked about the Blue Jays, right? Gabriel was asking me about the Blue Jays. We got Blue Jays Dodgers starting on Friday. And for anyone who didn't watch the game, it was like such a fun game to watch. But we will start with Monday Night Football, Ray, because Monday Night Football was a bit of a disaster on a lot of fronts. We will talk about the news when we get to it, but I want to know everyone's thoughts about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in particular, because this is a team, Ray, that especially coming in, we said they always deliver. Baker always delivers. And it was the first game it felt like he was finally rattled, right? He was off his spot. He was missing throws. The continuity within the offense just wasn't there as it's been the first 6 weeks. And that's a credit to the Detroit Lions at the end of the day. But how do you think this offense will be impacted going forward? Because, of course, our first point of news is Mike Evans. Mike Evans is out, Ray. He's not coming back. The 1,000-yard record?
Yeah,
it's over, man.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It should have been over a long time ago, but it's over now officially. Mike Evans will be out for, we expect, at least the regular season with a broken collarbone. He also suffered concussion on that throw.
Man.
But my big question to you is beyond, what happens with Springer. Jeez, I'm reading the chat talking about George Springer with Mike Evans. Is what do you think happens with this passing attack now? We said, Ibuka needs everything to go right for him to break out. Well, guess what, Ray? Chris Godwin, haven't heard from him in a minute. Mike Evans out for the regular season at least. Could be back for the playoffs potentially because he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Takes him basically right up to the end of the regular season to the playoffs. Should they make it, which I think we fully expect them to be. But where are you at with this passing attack? Tez Johnson showed out pretty well. Sterling Shepard caught a lot of passes, didn't do a whole lot with them, and K-Dot was a big beneficiary
Fumbled the ball in the game.
As well. What? But how do you feel about Baker in this offense going forward?
James said, James Young, shout out to James Young, always in the building. He said, remember 72 hours ago when Baker was the MVP of the NFL? I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. They ran up against a buzzsaw. The Detroit Lions, I know they're 4-2. They've lost 2 games. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. And even though they don't have another dynamic edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson, for me, going into the year, I was like, I'm not putting my money on him coming back and just being this dominant force that he was prior to him breaking his leg. But he's looked awesome. He's looked really good, and I think he's only going to get better as we move forward. But this was a defense that was depleted all their secondary members. Like everybody was hurt, and they played a hell of a game. I mean, Baker Mayfield was pressured like crazy. He was running around for his life. I think there were some other issues. Not having Bucky Irving absolutely helps because it seems like they struggle to run the ball. But from a passing perspective, there's no replacing Mike Evans, man. You're not going to replace Mike. There's no Tez Johnson. There's nobody that's going to be able to replace Mike. Ibuka was out there. He was supposed to miss 5 weeks. He's back in 5 days, right? I bet you he wasn't quite 100% for Tampa Bay, but they're going to keep throwing the ball. They're going to keep throwing the ball. And from a fantasy perspective, if I were to just tell you, you're getting the number 2 option in Tampa Bay's receiving core. That player is available to you right now on waivers. You could trade for him for nothing. The answer to would you want that player is yes, unequivocally. You bet, I want the number 2 for Baker Mayfield. And then you're like, who is it? Oh, it's Tez Johnson, right? And then you're like, man, he's little. He's a 7th-round pick. I don't know. I think he's a viable fill-in, man. Like, I really do. We were talking in our Discord. Shout out to the All Gas squad, to the Patreon community, patreon.com/All Gas. Get in the Heisman tier. We were talking about some players we would rather have opposed to, Tez Johnson or this player for the rest of the season. Now, I believe Tampa Bay has a Week 9 bye. They play New Orleans this week. They've got a Week 9 bye. So it's another week of rest. Maybe Chris Godwin can get back, but the reports are he ain't playing in Week 8. This is a dude, Jay, who was hurt coming into the season, and that's part of the reason why I really wasn't feeling him. I'm like, everybody knows my hard, fast rule, right? Anybody coming off of them type of injuries, I just wasn't feeling it going into this year.
Yep.
He came back and then had to leave because the injury that he was injured from wasn't all the way right. You think he's I'm just asking you, you think he gets better, like it's going to heal itself? Like, oh yeah, he was back and then he got hurt again. And I'm not banking on Godwin coming back being a big factor in the offense. I would put Tez Johnson up relatively high opposed to where he was sitting at going into the week. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here for him in this offense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the hard part for me right now with this team. Rolling with Johnny's asking is, when is McMillan back? And that's kind of where my heart, that's where my head goes first, honestly, is like, you ask me, well, is Tez Johnson better than Jalen McMillan? And I don't know the answer to that question. Like, we've already seen McMillan be good in this offense. We know that Baker trusts him. We saw him have a great second half last season. He could be better than Tez Johnson in this offense, and he could be the number 2 wide receiver when he comes back. And you remember back even beginning of the season, we said they hope to have him back after the bye week. Now, we haven't heard anything about McMillan. We haven't seen any updates, or at least I haven't seen any of those. So what is his prospect, and how would you rank him within these ranks? Because I think Cade Otton gets a boost, but he's a tight end. So we just view him a little bit differently. You're going to start him probably because he's going to see some more opportunity. But where are you at with even McMillan potentially returning, let's say, after the bye week? They got the Patriots, let's say following that week. So at that point would be at week 11, a return from McMillan. And I want to point out here, this is the part and the reason why I think this matters even more so. You got the Saints, you got the Falcons, you got the Panthers, you got the Dolphins to end the season for the Buccaneers, which is a great stretch for any playmaker, especially for a team that likes to pass the football. So how do you feel about this offense with the potential of McMillan coming back? And do you think he could actually be the number 2 you should be looking to target going forward?
From what I heard, he's still in a damn neck brace, man. Still in a neck brace. Still in a neck brace. I'm not... That was some serious shit that he went through. So no, I'm not... He's not there. This is what we got right now. Here goes the usage the last 2 weeks for Tampa Bay, and I know Emeka Egbuka was injured in one of those games, but Tez Johnson right here. You see his usage score, Trinity, ddfantasyfootball.com, 6.19 Trinity. That's in wide receiver 2 range. If you started him the past 2 weeks, you've got wide receiver 2 production the past 2 weeks. 13.6 fantasy points per game over the last 2 weeks. Last week with Mike Evans going down, he ran 40 routes to Egbuka's 44, second on the team in targets. And had Baker Mayfield been able to hit anything, the broadside of the ball, he was off. Baker was off in that game. Had he was off his Tez Johnson was a 100-yard, 2-touchdown game. He should have had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game if Baker Mayfield could hit the broadside of a barn. He was totally off in that game. You talked about him not being on his spot, under duress for a lot of the night. I'm not saying that this is some fantasy superstar. I'm not saying that he's the next this or the next that. But for this week, where we are truly in a week-to-week survival mode, I'm just trying to make it, I absolutely, unequivocally would want Tez Johnson. Let me ask you a couple of questions about Tez. All right, Jay? Let me ask you a few would-you-rathers Tez Johnson edition going in to week 8. We're not talking the long-term dynasty value, none of that shit, JRich. Just would you rather Tez Johnson over these players? Tez Johnson in week 8 or Calvin Ridley?
I'll take Tez Johnson. Is Calvin Ridley even available this week?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Which one would you rather have?
He also has Indianapolis, right?
Who do you have more faith in coming through for you, Tez Johnson or Calvin Ridley with Cam Ward?
Oh, for me, it's 100% Tez Johnson. They got the Saints this week. And, you look at the other side, Cam Ward has the Colts, arguably the best team in football. So no thank you for me. I will happily take Tez Johnson.
Let me find some other names of some other wide receivers that probably... Here's one for you, Jay. Here's one for you. They were on bye last week. This team was on bye last week. They're coming back. Let's say no Lamar Jackson, okay? No Lamar Jackson in the building. Tez Johnson or Zay Flowers?
Tez Johnson.
In week 8.
I want no part of Zay Flowers without Lamar Jackson.
Okay, with Lamar Jackson, you would take Flowers, huh?
A lot closer, but yeah, I would take Flowers.
Okay, JRich, would you take Tez Johnson? Would you rather Tez Johnson or Matthew Golden?
I think it has to be Tez Johnson.
Does it? I'm asking you, Tez or Golden?
I mean, I don't know where Golden's at right now, but I mean, has he had more than 5 targets in a game? I think we know what Tez is going to be. Tez can be a 5 for 60, 5 for 70 receiver. I'm not going to say he's going to score every week, but I think we know he can probably get 4 or 5 receptions in a game, and we just can't say that about Matthew Golden. They got the Steelers, though, and it's a really good matchup, but I just don't trust this offense as a whole. I believe the Steelers are bottom 5 in the NFL in passing yards allowed per game, and they might actually be in the bottom 3, almost 250 a game. So it's a great matchup for Love, but at the same time, Ray, how do you feel about Love right now? He's inconsistent, and we don't know who he's throwing the ball to, so it makes it very difficult to know what we're going to get. So I'll happily take the expected number 2 or number 3 receiver in Tampa Bay and Tez Johnson over Matthew Golden.
Tez or QJ? Week 8. They get Minnesota.
I kind of like the matchup against Minnesota, so I will take QJ.
Okay. Tez or Khalil Shakir coming back against Carolina?
Ooh. Where are you at on the Bills?
Where are you at with Tez Johnson versus Khalil Shakir?
It's kind of a toss-up. I'm going to say Shakir just because he's the number 1 in Buffalo, but I do have some small concerns about this Bills team, but maybe they'll be great off the bye.
Listen, people are saying Matthew Golden over Tez Johnson. I don't know if I would do that in week 8.
Again, this is a week
you know who
where
the
we have
wide receiver 1 in Green Bay is? Wide receiver 1 is Romeo Doubs. You know who the wide receiver 2 is in Green Bay? Tucker Kraft.
Can I ask you a question about Green Bay? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. Should we not be potentially looking to trade for Jayden Reed in case he's the one that unlocks this offense? You have no interest in Jayden Reed.
No, thank you. Unlock the. I've seen what he's been. For 3 years, I've seen what he's been. I've seen what he's been for 3 years.
But he was also the best receiver on the team before he got injured. He was. And he was very short-lived.
That could very well be true.
But you look at how this team has struggled, though. They've really struggled. They're not.
I think he's a part of the offense, but I've seen how they use him for 3 years, Jay. You think he's going to just come in and now he's going to be a 15-target guy? We're going to prioritize? No.
I'm not saying 15 targets, but if you can be the number 1 in this offense, you have value.
The number 1 is Romeo Doubs.
But it's not.
It is. It is.
It sort of is.
It
sort of is. You think he's the number 1 bona fide every week, start him every week? I don't think he's a 1.
I didn't say that he's got this
player.
I didn't say that he has this elite ceiling. That he's got this big high ceiling is the roof type outcome. But yeah, that's the primary target for the pass catchers in Green Bay. Absolutely. It's him, it's Tucker Kraft. Go look. You don't trust me, go trust the Trinity. If you don't want to trust old GQ.
I don't trust the Trinity, but you're talking about a player who has 24 receptions this season.
Who's got more than him from the receivers in Green Bay?
No one. I mean, I guess he gets 8 targets a game.
Something
with this Green Bay offense is just like
it's because it's Romeo Doubs. I guess he gets 8 targets a game.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But because more for me, right? It was the Dallas game he blew up, Cincy, okay, and then obviously the Arizona game. But it's just like this offense is doing. They should be so much better than they are. And if Romeo Doubs is the number 1 in this offense, I feel like he should be doing more. But maybe it's just
there's
no one
the
cares
usage.
About him because
there's
Romeo
Doubs, 6.69. There's the next closest receiver, 5.48, 7 points to 13 points per game above. He's the number 1 option in the offense. May not be sexy. You may not like it. You may not want to believe it. You want somebody else to be that. You want it to be Reed, this and that. It's Romeo Doubs. Look at his last 3 games. He's like a walking
8 targets a game.
I'll take that. That's the number 1 in Green Bay.
5 for 50.
No, I'm not trying to go buy low on damn Jayden Reed. No, thank you. He's a good player. He's gonna have his moments. He'll pop. But no, the number 1 in this offense is Romeo Doubs. JRich, it's Romeo Doubs. All right, we have some more news coming out of Monday Night Football as well. Goodness, we've only talked. I don't even know what we've discussed. Tez Johnson. JRich, it looks like it's happening, right? It looks like it's happening coming out of Monday, and we're talking about a change, right, JRich? Change is coming. Change is coming.
Yeah, the Jets are expected to name Tyrod Taylor their starting quarterback for Week 8, right? Your boy Woody Johnson. Some not so kind words for Justin Fields.
Let's listen to old Woody. Let's take a listen to Woody Johnson on Justin Fields.
What's your confidence level in Aaron to turn it around?
Well, it looks like he's turning around parts of it. You know, it's hard when you have a quarterback with, with a rating that we got. You know, he has the ability, but something just is not jiving. But if you look at any head coach with a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results if you go across the league. You have to play consistently with, at that position, and that's what we're going to try to do for the remainder of the season.
So what gives you hope then? Hope?
I just think defense, special teams are doing better. The defense is pretty good. If we can just complete a pass, it would look good. We got to complete some passes. You got to convince them that you can do something. Otherwise, it's hard to have have a game that you can win.
What do you say to the
JRich? JRich, man.
That's rough.
Hey.
That's
dude,
rough.
You want honesty. You want these coaches and the owners to not just give the politically correct answer? Well, Woody Johnson gave it to you. He gave it to you raw and unfiltered about Justin Fields. He said if you look at that rating, that PFF grade, that quarterback
rating. Talking about that Madden rating?
All the ratings, JRich. He said if we could just complete a pass, Jay. Dude. Scathing.
That's tough.
Scathing.
That's tough.
Do you feel for Fields a little bit? Do you feel for him, JRich?
Hell no.
Oh, man.
Do I feel for Fields? He's terrible. What's there to feel for?
Wow. I mean, that was tough. That was tough. And if you didn't see it, Justin Fields went full preacher mode after the game. Whenever athletes resort to that, it's over. When you go full, I'm just using my platform to spread the word. No, you're not. Do not put the Lord on your arm passing the football. Don't do that, Justin Fields. Once you start going down that path, you've lost all credibility, right? Woody Johnson comes out the next day, says the dude can't complete a damn pass. Is there any hope for the Jets? Is there any hope for the Jets this week? Because this show, we talk about things we love and we hate. And one of the things that I absolutely love going into week 8, JRich, it kind of coincides with the Jets. It's the matchup that Joe Flacco has versus this team. I love it. Give me some of that Flacco this week versus a Jets team that can't complete a forward pass. Thoughts on Woody Johnson? Is it over for Fields? And I said this the other day, Jay. That man has been wildly more successful in the game of football than I ever have nor ever will be ever, right? Like not even close. So I'm not here to be like he should do this or shouldn't do that. Wouldn't you have a lot more interest and desirability in Justin Fields if he just went the Taysom-Hill route? Like you're going to be this running quarterback. You're going to run the ball 6 to 8 times a game out of the backfield. The threat of the trick pass, and you just know use his legs and his athleticism and play the Taysom-Hill role. Would you have interest in him? I doubt he does it. You know when he's going to do it like 6 years from now? He's going to be like, F it, I'm going to just do that. And you're like, dude, why didn't you do this 7 years ago? You could have been an awesome player. But this is it for him at the quarterback position, Jay. I don't know how he rebounds from this, dude.
Yeah, I mean, outside of being a backup somewhere, which, I mean, maybe a team would take him as a backup. But the problem is that when he comes in the game, you don't like even now, you don't expect him to be able to complete a forward pass. Like you just don't expect that from him. I mean, he's 26 years old, and right, the crazy part is like Justin Fields would be a sick move tight end. Like he'd be a really good move tight end.
I don't even want him to play a different position.
But if he did, he would be great. Like
I
you
don't know
about
about
Taysom-Hill.
You know what
right?
I know? I don't know that. Here's what I do know. He's great at running the ball. Just play Just play the. I know because he's not a tight end. He's not a tight end.
But Taysom-Hill was a quarterback that became a tight end. And he's not a true tight end. He's more of an H-back than anything else. But like Justin Fields could do that.
I don't care. Just run the ball. Let's stick with that. If he were just running the ball, whatever designation it was, there'd be a lot more interest in his skill set. But if you were
Justin Fields, what would you pay for that?
It's not going to.
You pay nothing for that.
If what?
You're probably better off being a backup quarterback in the NFL than trying to be the role that you're speaking of. Because it's a very low value role. He's better off being a backup quarterback.
He would be. Listen to what I'm saying.
He should honestly go to the CFL.
He would be a backup quarterback doing the Taysom-Hill stuff, Jay. He's not switching positions. He's still a quarterback. He's just doing that role. Let's move on. You're not getting what I'm trying to lay down. Let's talk about Carson Wentz. Let's talk about Carson Wentz and the Minnesota Vikings. JRich, Wentz is in line to start again. JJ McCarthy's ankle still isn't quite right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big story for people who care about fantasy because, let's be honest, JJ McCarthy has not been very good for the pass catchers in Minneapolis, and Carson Wentz has been. So if you have Justin Jefferson, you should be really happy right now. This Chargers team has been getting shredded the last few weeks, and so now you have Carson Wentz at the helm once again. We'll see what happens with JJ McCarthy, but Ray, like, it's been real quiet. It's been crickets on JJ. You know, we hear the ankle isn't healthy. We hear he needs more time. We hear he's on 100%. I mean, how long does this guy need to recover from an ankle injury? How long has it been? It's been what, since week 3? Basically, because he got hurt in week 2? We're at week 8. Was it a high ankle sprain?
Is JJ ducking that smoke? Is he ducking the smoke? Is JJ ducking that smoke?
Ducking it, but are the Vikings maybe ducking JJ a little bit, keeping him under wraps? He's injured. You know, he's not on IR, right? He was never placed on IR. Do you know why? Because they thought he'd be back in less than 4 weeks. It's been 6 weeks. And by the time next week, it will be 8 weeks since we've seen JJ McCarthy. All the way up to week 9, Ray. Hurt in week 2, all the way up to week 9. Why on earth are the Minnesota Vikings hiding JJ McCarthy from us, Ray? He was supposed to be next up. They got rid of Sam Darnold, who looks like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now, for this guy. And instead, they're starting Carson Wentz. What's up with that?
What's Josh talking about? Josh says, is it a bad take to just say he needs more time to develop? Why would that be bad? Are we talking Fields or McCarthy?
That's a great question.
I hope he's not. I hope he's not talking
about
Fields.
When I read it the first time.
I thought that's why I was like, wait a minute. We're not talking. He's got to be talking about McCarthy. I don't think he's not being. I don't think he's not playing because of development. They say his ankle
had a whole
is hurt.
year. He had a whole year, right?
Yeah, I don't believe it's development as to why he's not playing. They said his ankle is hurt, right? Is that the reason?
That's what they say. That's what they say. What's your take, Ray? What do you believe?
I don't. It's not a benching. I think he's hurt. I think he's hurt. I think he's hurt. And they're not rushing him back on the field. That's what I think.
Why is that though?
Because he's hurt.
Oh,
because he's hurt.
So it's just because he's hurt.
And because Carson Wentz is capable enough to keep it going, I guess. He had 3 interceptions.
So basically, you're ducking the question, and you're not actually giving your true thoughts about McCarthy.
No,
think
that's my true thought. I think he's hurt.
He's sitting out because
no, I think he's hurt. That's why he's sitting out. I think he's hurt.
Okay,
I think he's hurt. And if Wentz was so awful that the team was falling all the way apart, I think they would be more pressed to rush him back on the field. What are they? 4-3? What are they? 4-3 right now?
Probably
4-3.
Or they actually had the bye. They had the bye last week.
Yeah, I think. Okay, 4-2, 3-4. What's their record?
3-3. Yikes.
3-3.
Can they beat the Chargers, Ray? We probably won't talk about Thursday much. 3-4. Mini bye. Then they get McCarthy back.
I don't know if they beat the Chargers.
And then Ray, you're gonna send JJ to the Wolves, or better yet, should I say?
Who do they got? Who do they got out of the bye?
They got the mini bye. And on the second, JJ heads back to Michigan to face the Lions.
The Lions, his first game back.
If he plays Sunday, November 2nd, 1:00 in the Lions Den.
Man,
that's rough.
Man. Yeah, that's rough.
Then he gets to go toe to toe with Lamar Jackson the next week.
I'm not really worried about Baltimore. I love Lamar, but Baltimore, the team with Lamar, they're better. But that's a 1-5 ball club right now, as well. JRich. Okay, Nico Collins out. JRich concussed on Monday Night Football. No Nico Collins. Pretty disappointing. He's been pretty disappointing this season. He hasn't. Where's he rank amongst fantasy receivers this year? It has not been the type of season, right? It has not been the type of season that we expected from Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, this Texans team. There was a report today that D'Amico Ryans, said no interest in making an offensive coordinator change. They can't run the ball. Jalen Noel got in the action, 4 for 77. He looked explosive. You may want to give him the ball a little bit more, and there's some more opportunity on the horizon with Nico being out. But man, what's up with Nico, man? What do you do with this? It sucks that he's got a concussion, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not even so much what's wrong with Nico. It's just this offense stinks,
right? Flat out.
It's so bad. And to be fair, like they're playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense right now, I believe, is number 1 in yards allowed. They allow the fewest rushing yards per game. They've overtaken the Packers in that category. But yeah, you talk about Nico Collins, wide receiver 23 in points per game. Like that's not what you paid up for. It's just a bad team, man. Like it's just not a good team. And you look to, well, they drafted Jaden Higgins, and why hasn't he been able to maybe elevate the offense a little bit? You know, Christian Kirk dealing with injuries. The offensive line is obviously a disaster. I think that in some ways we have seen Stroud regress a little bit beyond even what we expected. This team just is not very good. They're 2-4. I mean, division is basically no chance at this point with how good the Colts are.
Yeah.
They're going to be fighting for a wild card berth if they can get it, and it's still going to be tough in the AFC. This team's just in shambles, and it's hard to know what happens next because, you know, a lot of people ask the question, right? Everyone's on bye. Can I start Jaden Higgins? Can I start Jalen Noel? Like, what do I do with this team? There should be opportunity, but like at the same time, this team is so bad. Why should we care? Are these guys really going to step up into prominent roles where they're even flex-worthy options, or does this team just deteriorate without their only threat at wide receiver, Nico Collins?
Here's the usage for Houston's pass catchers for the whole season, Jay. They barely have anybody over the line, the regression line, which means your quarterback play and offense, like he's not even doing average to what other receivers with his, you know, share of opportunity for this offense gets. Dalton Schultz next up. Christian Kirk, who barely plays, is up there. And then it's freaking Cade Stover and Xavier Hutchinson. It's a bad offense. It's a bad offense right now. And we talked about it coming in. Sometimes we do that game where we're trying to predict which offenses are going to be good and bad, and we're 100% right, and sometimes we're dead ass wrong. This was one where we were like, they moved off of all their O-linemen. I did not foresee this playing out very good. No Joe Mixon, big problem. They can't run the ball. I like Jalen Noel. If there was one that I was going to fire up, it would be Noel. It'd be the explosive 100%. Playmaker. You and I both really, really love the player coming out of Iowa State. But other than that, man, yeah. Jeff has the answer right. You start Schultz. Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz balling.
Jeff said he wants out of, man, listen, this is, think about, go look up Nico's value right now. Use everyone's favorite site, source of truth, KTC. And then give me I want to know how old he is. Give me where he's ranked. Jeff says, I want out of Nico and Stroud everywhere. Jeff, people in my community have been telling me to buy low on Stroud for about 8 weeks. I'm like, I'm not buying low on the damn Stroud. Like has Stroud not been bad since his rookie year? Has he not? Has he legitimately not been terrible since his 2023 rookie campaign?
Yeah, he's been awful. He's been barely startable. And you could argue he hasn't been startable at all. He's been terrible. Awful,
Jay. Right. Where's Nico at? How old is Nico? Where's he ranked?
So Nico is 26.5, and he is at wide receiver 13 on KTC right now.
Give me some guys underneath him. Not
even top 12.
Give me some guys
Garrett
underneath
Wilson.
him. Who?
Garrett Wilson. So, Ray, your favorite 2 receivers right now.
Hey!
Would you rather Nico Collins, who has no offensive line and barely a quarterback?
Isn't Garrett Wilson on IR? Isn't Wilson on IR? Did they IR G-Dub?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He would be so lucky if they did.
Dude, I would take Nico.
What? You would take Nico?
I don't know, man. I'd take Nico over G-Dub.
Oh, God. I disagree. Come on, Ray. You got to take Garrett Wilson here. At least he gets like 8-9 targets a game.
Tell me he's not on IR.
I don't think he's on IR.
Okay.
He's hurt. I don't think he's on IR, though. He's questionable right now.
He's questionable.
And because it's Wednesday, we haven't seen.
Okay, G-Dub. Okay, ask me again. Is Fields Garrett Wilson or no Fields Garrett Wilson?
Okay, so Justin Fields is benched. Tyrod Taylor's going to be the starter.
Yes.
The Texans' offensive line is horrific, and C.J. Stroud is still the quarterback. Would you rather, in Dynasty, Nico Collins or Garrett Wilson?
I'll take Garrett.
Yeah. Good answer. Would you rather Nico Collins or Rashee Rice?
Oh, easy Rice. Easy Rashee Rice. Easy. He's
Nico
below
Collins?
Nico?
Yeah, he is. Still hasn't risen too much, Rashee Rice. He's got to come up a bit. Wide receiver 15 right now is Rashee Rice. Nico Collins or Lad McConkey?
I would take Lad.
Okay. Nico Collins or George Pickens?
Give me that GP. Give me Garrett. Give me George Pickens. Garrett Pickens. Give me both of them.
You wanted to say Garrett Wilson so bad. Would you rather Nico Collins or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Nico. I'm done with Marv.
You're
done.
enough.
I'm done. I can't even defend him. I'm done. DONE done.
Nico Collins or AJ Brown?
I would take AJ Brown.
Okay.
AJ Brown.
Last one. Nico Collins or he's on bye this week, Ray. Travis Hunter.
Oh, hey, JRich. It's an interesting conversation.
Right?
We talking Dynasty or rest of the season?
Give me both answers because I'm intrigued.
Rest of the season, I'd rather have Travis Hunter for sure. I'd rather.
Okay, wow.
I'm okay. I'm buying in, man. They've got to make a change. They've got to make a change.
But if that's what you believe, it has to be in Dynasty as well. It just has to be.
Yes.
Because we've talked about it a lot on this show. We don't know when the Texans are going to get right. Like, we don't know. This is now year 2 of this. I'm not going to call it a rebuild, but year 2 of this offensive rebuild, right? They shipped off their whole O-line. They said, we need a culture reset. That was their plan. We're going to reset the culture. It's just as bad as last year. So what are they going to do? They're going to reset the culture again in March and sign some new free agents and get Stroud some help. Like when? I don't know, man. But I'm with you. I would take Travis Hunter, and I think you could get a plus. If you could trade your Nico for Travis Hunter and a plus, even if the plus is a third, I would do it.
I would do it.
It's right there. But yeah, after him, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf. How do you feel about Metcalf? Is he just more of a
I like
DK than a dynasty one?
I would love to
having him.
I would love to have DK. I'm not going to go pay what the DK manager probably wants to get off of DK. They probably want to. I'm not giving you a first round pick for him. I'm not giving you a future first for DK, but I like DK. I like DK.
Yeah,
and let me ask you this: Starter Kid Duke. Starter Kid Duke says rest of season Nico Dynasty Travis easy. What have you seen from Nico in Houston to? I guess you could flip this with Hunter, but that Nico's going to turn it around in Houston, regardless if it's versus Hunter, versus Lad, versus. Let's just talk about Nico versus Nico. Nico versus Houston. Fuck anybody else right now, right? Like it doesn't. I don't care about any other receiver. Let's talk about Nico versus Nico in Houston. Like, how does it get better for the Texans? Because if I'm not mistaken, outside of a broken play where he got loose for a long touchdown, like what has he really done this year? And it's not a Nico problem. The receivers relying on the QB. CJ Stroud, did you watch he's under duress. No joke, every other drop back. Every other drop back, he's running around trying to buy some time. They can't run the ball. They cannot run the football. The only time they look competent as an offense was when they were facing off against the damn Baltimore Ravens that put up 44 on Baltimore. And then they looked good versus the Tennessee Titans. And that team stinks. So what about what we've seen? And don't give me it's early. We're going to figure you got 4 more fantasy football games left to decide your playoff fate. It ain't early. It's we're closer to the end than the beginning, right? Yep. So what about what we've seen so far makes you believe this is going to turn around, Jay?
Nothing, right? And they got the 49ers next. Then they got the Broncos. Like, they're not going to do anything against those teams.
He says Nico's the entire offense. What? Dude, it's a Totino's pizza. It's not a good offense. It's not a good offense. You know who else is the entire offense? Tetero McMillan. The entire offense. How good is that? Elick Aomanor. He's the entire offense. How good is that? Garrett Wilson is the entire. How good is that? Like It's not a Nico thing. This situation sucks. The quarterback is playing like ass right now. What did Joe Budden say? A 2-pack of ass. That's how CJ Stroud is playing right now. What's changing, Jay? What's changing?
Nothing. It's why it's one of our hates right now. You know, we always talk about Nico. We talk about things we love and hate. Texans offense is a big hate, and it's not going to change for a little bit. You know, they have a schedule that kind of opens up a little bit for them.
It ain't changing this season.
But, I mean, outside of another Titans game, maybe he can do something against the Jags in a couple weeks. They already had a good game against the Jags. Like Bills, Colts, Chiefs, Cardinals, no thank you. I know you guys think the Cardinals suck. The defense is actually very good.
The defense is good.
Right?
You've been saying it. You've been saying the Cardinals, they showed that.
They do not allow a lot of
Green Bay.
points. They have a strong defense. Gannon's doing a good job with the defense. It's offensively, they're really struggling. But the defense is good. So the Texans offense, like if they're not playing an absolute bottom feeder team defensively, they haven't shown much of anything, and they haven't been able to score points. And people need to remember, this is the #1 scoring defense in the NFL. And they're 2-4 because their offense can't score points. And so if you can't score points, you can't win football games. And if you can't score points, you can't score fantasy points either. And that's why Nico's not having a good season.
And Jacob says Nico, Marv, and G-Dub are all the same. They and to a degree,
Marv is kind of the odd one out for me.
Nico and Garrett are in awful situations. Marv is in, I mean, he gets opportunity, just doesn't do anything with it. Did you see it was a tweet Marcus Mosher put out, and it was true yardage. So it was total receiving yards gained plus defensive pass interference yards that were called. So it just kind of lumps them all together. Marvin Harrison, top 10 in the NFL in collective receiving yards and defensive pass interference. Yes.
So he gets all the DPIs then.
The opportunity has been there for Marv. He just has not been able to capitalize, man. Just hasn't been it. Chat, who can I trade Nico for? That's a really good question. Who could you move him for? I
don't know. Again, I don't know who's buying. Jeff
I
asked
think there are
Nico
a lot of people
BTJ.
buying. I think there are a lot of people
BTJ.
buying. I think there are a lot of people that would buy Nico Collins.
But what? Okay, but like, could you get a first?
Let me ask you this right now: Jordan Addison or Nico Collins?
I mean, I'd hope I could get more than Jordan Addison, but
have you seen Addison
That's
since
the
he came back? Since he's come back, this dude's averaging
good.
17 damn points a game.
He's been very good, yeah. He's still the #2 in the offense, though. We know that. That's not going to change. And JJ McCarthy coming back isn't going to help Addison either. But if that's the best you can get, that's the best you can get. But I think the problem with buying an Addison is that you're kind of buying high, right? I think with Nico, you want to find another player who's kind of like okay or a buy low. That way you can maybe get a plus. Like you're buying a high asset in Addison versus a low asset in Collins. It's not a bad situation.
Okay, here's one. Would you move your Chris Olave for Nico Collins right now?
Nope. Why would I? That situation can really only get better. And he's balling right now.
Wow. DK Metcalf. Would you trade your Nico to get DK?
I would. Yes.
You would move Nico to get DK.
I think I would, yeah. I think that's a move that is very, very possible. Very possible.
Saquon. Would you move your Saquon to get Nico? Well, you're trading Saquon and you're getting Nico Collins.
Probably not.
I wouldn't do that either.
Probably not.
Even
you have
though
to go pretty far down the running back list, right?
Even though Saquon's been stank too. He's been pretty bad.
Hey man, talked about it week 1. He hasn't shown up since, right? Like we're still waiting.
Jason, that's why we switched. Jason said would move Nico for an RB. I think cross-positional trades are the way to go. So let me give you a couple of running back names for Nico Collins. Would you rather Nico Collins right now or Cam Scatterboo?
Cam Scatterboo. I honestly, Ray, like straight up, do you think you could actually get, Cam Scatterboo for your Nico Collins?
Yeah, I think you could. And you get a plus too.
Okay.
I'm just asking you one for one for the sake of the conversation, but I believe the running backs that I'm naming, I think you can get a plus on top of them. Javonte Williams plus for Nico.
Ooh.
Javonte plus.
Be a big
you said
plus.
Yes quickly for Scatterboo, and now you're thinking about it from the better running back and the better offense.
But I'm saying I can resell Scatterboo. I can't resell Javonte.
No, you can't. You cannot. You
right?
can. You probably
so is
cannot.
it going to be a first?
Yeah,
or is
you
it a
probably
second?
can't. You're not. There's no chance on fantasy football's
agree.
green earth you can get Javonte and a first for Nico. No
right.
chance.
So then you're asking me Javonte in a second for my
And a
Nico
second for
Collins.
Nico.
And that's tough. If you need the points, it is what it is. But that's tough.
What are we trying to do?
Would you
Score?
do that?
We trying to win?
No, but I would just rather do it for a player who's, again, if you want to go the straight redraft route, you can, but I feel like there has to be someone maybe in between. That's where Scadaboo is like, people are going to sell high on him because they're like, oh, how much higher can he go?
Henderson in a
he could be
second
really
for
good.
Travion Henderson in a second for Nico. Would you do it? Would you do it?
You can't do that.
Okay,
you can't
that's
do
a
that.
that's a no.
You can't,
That's
you can't do
a
that.
hell no.
I'm sorry.
There's
sorry,
that's
Kendo, but
that's a no.
ooh, what
Jeanty
about
or Nico?
Brees?
Jeanty or Nico?
Oh God, are we gonna have a Jeanty conversation about the things that we hate?
You cannot hate him for last Sunday. It wasn't his fault. He touched the ball 6 times, man. That wasn't Ashton Jeanty's fault. Why are so many people frustrated with Jeanty? I don't get it.
Okay, but Ray, we are having the exact same conversation right now about Nico Collins. You can talk about how his lack of opportunity, how the team sucks, but let me ask you, Ashton Jeanty is RB3 right now on KTC.
In Dynasty?
Running back 3 right now on Keep Trade Cut. So clearly, you have some thoughts here. The only 2 players ahead of him, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Surprise, surprise. Would you rather Ashton Jeanty or Jonathan Taylor?
JT.
Would you rather Ashton Jeanty or Devon Achane?
Achan.
Omarion Hampton when healthy or Ashton Jeanty?
Hampton.
Bucky Irving or Ashton Jeanty?
Bucky.
Quinshawn Judkins or Ashton Jeanty?
Judkins.
James Cook or Ashton Jeanty?
Cook.
Ashton Jeanty or Saquon Barkley? Why isn't the answer Saquon Barkley?
Saquon.
Right? Like, sure, he sucks, but the upside's still there. Ashton Jeanty or Christian McCaffrey?
C-Mac.
Ashton Jeanty or Kyron Williams?
We're getting there.
There's
now.
your line.
We're
There's
getting
your
there.
line. There's
Who's
your
after
line.
Kyron?
Josh Jacobs. And Josh Jacobs is balling. He's the entire offense right now.
Who's after Jacobs?
Scadaboo. And there's no way you're not saying, like, look, if you can get something reasonable,
Yeah.
with
Who's
your
after
with
Scat?
your Scadaboo,
Just humor me. Who's after Scat?
Brees Hall.
All right, I would take Jeanty over Brees. Yes.
But
Yes.
you're down at RB 15. So you basically said that you don't value Jeanty as a top 10 running back or close to it. Kevin's saying it. Mountain West Brian Robinson.
I think he should be valued as a top 10 asset at the running back position. Yes. Not the number 3.
So
not
where
top
would you put him
5.
now? Would you put him ahead of Cook? I think for me, the line is around Cook range because you're
Cook,
taking
Kyron,
Judkins, you're taking Irving, you're taking Hampton, you're taking Achane, you're taking Taylor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Those guys, I'd say, are almost for sure. And I think a lot of people would take James Cook over Jeanty right now.
I think so too.
He's got
I
the
think so, too.
extension. He's locked in. Are you going to bank on Jeanty and him doing nothing all year and potentially heading into next season because we don't know when he's going to be good, or Saquon Barkley, who at least plays for the Eagles?
I'm
then
looking
Christian
at the
McCaffrey's
chat. A lot of
the
people are
best
saying
running
that
back in football. Jeanty as RB3 is insane. And you're right, it's not his fault.
Patrick said, I said, why is everybody so low on Jeanty? And then I buried him. I just don't think he should be at 3. I didn't think he was that damn high. There's no way on earth I'm taking Ashton Jeanty over Jonathan Taylor. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? No way.
Yeah.
Achan, no way. I'm not taking him over Judkins. Or Hampton when he's back. No way. No way. The offenses the Raiders stink. They can't throw the ball. They can't run the ball. Offensive linemen dropping like flies. They quit.
And that's
quit on Sunday.
It's the same conversation with Nico, right? It's the same conversation with Nico. This guy has no hope because the team is just too bad. And it's not that we don't like Jeanty. It's not that we don't think he could be a fantastic player, but these outcomes, like you saw this week, are not going to happen every week. They're not going to happen probably even again this season until they play the Chiefs again. But like, it's just not good. And even if he's getting 17, 18 carries for 50 yards, like, and you could trade that for Saquon's going to have a game eventually. And
yeah, I mean, he's getting too much. He's getting the ball too much not to, right? He's getting the ball too much not to.
He's been disappointing for Saquon,
Absolutely.
but he's still producing close to, I think, a top 12 level at this point. Close to. He's probably fallen out a little bit, but
Saquon's been pretty bad. He's been,
like, why wouldn't you just trade your Jeanty for McCaffrey?
I would absolutely take old man McCaffrey over Ashton Jeanty.
But the funny thing is that if you sent me Ashton Jeanty for my Christian McCaffrey straight up, it is getting declined immediately unless my team is completely out of it.
I'm not even going to decline it. I'll just let it sit there and it will expire. Expire.
You're going to wait for McCaffrey to get injured.
I don't even respond to him. I let him sit there to give you some hope that maybe I've seen it or will accept it. But the answer is always going to be no. Wouldn't do it, JRich. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back after the break. We'll wrap up the show and probably some more Would You Rather as well. Let's go. Welcome back in the show. It's Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're new to the channel, we have a good time every time. The only thing that we ask, hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I know you're watching the shit without subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. That way when we go live, you catch everything that we get. Other content on the channel. Check out our work over on DDFFB. If you missed me yesterday, every Tuesday on Yahoo Fantasy, man, me and Matt Harmon, we do a show. Talked about some Tez Johnson, talked about Chris Olave, a bunch of other receivers. Antoine Pierce was featured on the show. To support the work over on Yahoo Data Dump every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then later today, Scott Connor and I are back talking all things usage, wide receivers and tight ends. You know you got to do what? Trust it. Trust the Trinity. You can find the tool on ddfantasyfootball.com. Takes all the things that you use for fantasy. Targets, air yards, first downs, yards per route run. We roll it up into one clean score so you could see how well that usage translates to fantasy points. Trust the Trinity on DD Fantasy Football. JRich, I'm looking at the comments during the break. Luke said people that leave trades in the inbox are the worst. But then my dog Kevin came back to support me, said I don't acknowledge bad trades either. I let him sit there and let the other person cancel them. I'm the same way. Same damn way, Kevin. You don't respond to bad deals, man. You don't do that. Then Alan Davis wants to know, JRich, is Rashee Rice worth a later 26th first?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's worth a mid first. Ray,
Yes.
would you take... Let's actually pivot the conversation very briefly.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are the receivers in the 26th class that you would take over
None.
Rashee Rice, if there's
None.
any?
Zero.
Right?
Zero.
There's no quarterbacks.
Zero.
I guess there's Jeremiah Love.
Pretty good.
But like...
I'm in the receiver classes. Receiver class is nasty,
it's a good
dude.
class, but you're just
It's a
not
great
taking him
receiver
over
class.
Rashee Rice.
I'll take Rashee Rice over every last one of them. Jordan Tyson,
the only
Cornell Tate,
the only
Chris
people
Bell,
I
all
imagine,
of them.
yeah, it's like it's Lemon probably and
No,
Tyson are like the only
it's
two that'll
Lemon.
get the capital.
You got Lemon,
that'll
you
probably
got
get capital.
Tyson, you've got Tate, you've got Chris Bell, you've got Denzel Boston. It's a really, really good class. I'm taking Rashee Rice over every last one of them. All of them. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Love Tyson, but I would take Rashee Rice too.
Yes.
Right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, so you talk about 26 first, especially a late one, you may not even be able to get a Lemon or a Tyson that could potentially have top 20 draft capital in the NFL draft, right? And if you're not getting that with one of those picks, then they ain't going to outproduce Rashee Rice. They're just not.
Justin said, too overreactive for Dynasty. Like, we don't know the Dynasty game. Just started doing this yesterday. Dynasty needs to have more patience and nuance. What are your thoughts, JRich? More patience in Dynasty.
You could have patience and nuance if you want, but it's just going to leave you in the middle of the pack, right? If you're a bad team and you drafted Jeanty high, sure, wait. Your team's not going anywhere. But if you're doing a startup right now, and this is more when we talk about where do you value these players, Jeanty is 17th overall on KTC, right? So a lot of times you're taking, a running back in the first round, maybe a wide receiver potentially, right? A high-end wide receiver. Like, are you going to really start a draft with Malik Neighbors and Ashton Jeanty? How's that going to look in a few months, right? You're just probably not going to do that. And that's where it's like, if Hampton is a third-round startup pick, Bucky Irving, third-round startup pick, Quinshon Judkins, late third-round startup pick, James Cook also in that same breath. So there's a tier of running backs that we view as very similar in terms of how we value them today to Ashton Jeanty. And that's more what I'm getting at, is that you could have that patience. I'm not saying don't sell Jeanty right away for a Judkins straight up. Not that I feel like the Judkins owner would even accept that.
I would.
But it's just something to, you would, well, if you're the Judkins owner, you wouldn't accept it, right?
No.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's where it's the nuance is understanding where the player should be valued.
Let me tell you why I don't buy into any type of any of that shit anymore, man. Because I'm almost positive, JRich, just a mere season ago, Breece Hall was a top 5 Dynasty running back. The game changes week to week. Like, it really does. It does. You know what I have, you know what the game is for me? It's finding those, there are multiple seasons inside of a season. This idea and this notion that you have to draft these players and then hold them. Dude, I'm not coaching them. I'm not putting them in the game. I could be as patient as I want, but it doesn't mean Travion Henderson is going to touch the ball any more in week 8 than he has in the first 7 weeks of the season. Every single asset in fantasy football is bought and sold 10 times over throughout a season. You would like to think that after the incredible season that Malik Neighbors had, you would also like to think that after Jamar Chase has gone gangbusters his first 3 years in the NFL, that he'd be unobtainable. And there was a point in this season in which there were some big name people saying, sell Jamar Chase. Get out of that Chase. Like, Patrick Mahomes, don't want him. He's fallen in Dynasty. Jalen Hurts is a bum. Joe Burrow, get rid of him. That's the game, man. Like, that ain't nobody drafting and holding anymore. You do that, I guarantee you're in the middle. I guarantee you're sitting in the middle. You could buy and sell these players whenever, right? Whenever. There are so many different windows in which you can acquire and move off of an asset, man. Like, that stuff for me, look at this. Javonte Williams went from top 5 to a waiver wire ad. Now he's back to an RB1. You know how many times did I need to be patient for that? Do I need to wait on that to happen? Shit, no. Not waiting on that. Puka Nacua, as great as Puka's been, you know how many buy windows have been there for Puka? Oh, I can't stay injured, can't stay healthy. Adams is in town, this and that. Like, I don't need to be patient. I don't need to be patient.
Yeah, right. I would argue the buy window just recently shut because he's like wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. But before that, he was just going up and up and up and up and up.
Still
and
obtainable.
Up. And the buy window was wide open.
Oh, yeah.
And always should have been.
Right here. Been playing Dynasty since 2000. We've seen the roller coaster with JT. He went from RB1 to RB. He's not going to get another contract to now look at where he's at. Christian McCaffrey coming in the season. I don't want him. Achilles injury. I'm done. Do not draft Christian McCaffrey. Like, they just, every player has, I'm not attached to any of them, right? I think the more important thing, if you really want to take the Dynasty angle, it's how do you construct your team? What do you have? Do you have enough? I'll say it like this. Do you have enough point scorers, veteran players that will score you points? Like Javonte Williams is just a point scorer. Probably never going to have true value moving forward, but he's a point scorer. Do you have enough point scorers? Are you stable at the positions you need to be stable at? Do you have a tight end? And do you have flexible tokens that you can move around? AKA rookies. Shit that people get excited for. Shit that people want to be patient to wait. I want to wait on that Hendo. Great, I got that Hendo. Trade me Jacobs. Trade me somebody else. Do you have enough of those things to maneuver throughout your season to position your team to either succeed or tank to get a higher pick? That's the game. Not being patient to see if somebody's going to turn into a stud. Like, I'm not worried. When they do it, I'll go get them then. When they do it, I'll go get them then. I'll figure out a way to go get them then. When they get injured, that's when I'll buy. You know who's a good buy right now? Brian Thomas Jr. You know why? Because everyone hates him today. Everyone hates him today. Can't catch the ball. Travis Hunter's taking over. They're on a bye, so he ain't going to score me no points. He forgot how to play football, right? If you got some conviction on that, that's when you go get him. But I'm not waiting for shit to play out. Like, I'm not doing that.
And that's also why, like, when we do this show and we talk about these player values, you know, we talked about the Emeka Egbuka rise, right? From the moment he was wide receiver 15, 16, now he's all the way up to wide receiver 8. And we said, you know, if you want this player, he's going to go up in value. The same with Rome Odunze, the same with Drake London when he was starting to rise up, right? And like in the same way, it goes the opposite direction. When, you know, we talked about it feels like a few weeks ago, you were like, man, I'm just out on McConkey right now. I just can't take him and value him at the same cost. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep waiting on Lad McConkey to turn it around when everything that we've seen is saying that's going to be very difficult to do given the circumstances? You just can't take a player in this offense as high as he was going, and the value shouldn't correlate to what his production is going to be.
Well, I think we also have to recognize that we're playing a game, right?
Yeah.
None of us have said this dude is going to be out of the NFL in a season. They're never going to be able to figure it out, but we're playing a game, and we've got a time limit on when we can get to where we want to go, what we can do. There are deadlines. Like, we're playing a game. We're not burying the player's ability, right? We're not saying that they'll never be able to be an NFL producer, but in the game in which we play, your time for patience is limited, even in a longer proxy of the game, which is Dynasty. And just to be honest, man, that's changed over the last 5-6 years, like the way that people play Dynasty fantasy football. But we're playing a proxy for a game. We're not coaching these guys. We're not doing any of this shit. We're playing a game, you know? So I'm not
100%.
You know how much patience I have when I'm getting beat on that Madden? Quit. Restart. Give me a new team.
Give me a guy who sucks.
Let me play.
Give me a bounce back game.
Yeah, give me a bounce back game. I'm out of this one. I'm playing on all Madden over here, JRich. I see a lot of people talking about the Bears. Love the Bears rushing attack. Love what I saw you out on the show sheet. You love the passing attack.
I think
you're out of your. I think you didn't watch any football in week 7 or 6 if you say you love their passing attack.
I hear where you're coming from.
No, you don't.
But I would not be shocked if the Bears passing game bounces back this week against the Ravens. That's more what I was getting at. It's not that I think it's going to be this high flying offense, but this Ravens defense is really bad, man. Like, we've seen it from weeks and weeks. And I do agree with you. I think Ben Johnson will continue to run the football, which he's done very effectively since the bye week, and I think that'll only continue. Manungai getting more involved. Swift has been great, and we never talk about Swift, but Swift has been great. But I do think this could be a great opportunity to get the passing game back on track. They struggled against Washington. They struggled last week, and I think this week is a great spot for Ben Johnson to say, you know what? We've been running the ball effectively. We're playing against the Ravens. They have a bottom 3 defense in terms of passing yards allowed. They can find some opportunities against this team.
Look at that usage last 2 weeks for Chicago's pass catchers. One of the worst charts in fantasy football. One of the worst wide receiver rooms post-bye over the last 2 weeks. Caleb Williams is playing like a bottom 3 quarterback per all advanced metrics. He's down there with Cam Ward and Trevor Lawrence. Stone worst. They haven't had a receiver catch over 4 passes in 2 weeks, but you feel good this week.
I think it's a great bounce back opportunity. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I hope so, because it's been stank for all of them. Moore, Burden, Kmet, Loveland, Odunze, all of them. Caleb Williams
have been playing good football, right? I think it's the sad part that we've been talking about. It feels like for the last couple weeks. The Bears are a team that is playing very good football right now. They're turning teams over. Caleb's not making mistakes. And those are the two biggest things we talked about with the Bears is they need to be better defensively and Caleb needs to stop turning the ball over. They have the number one turnover differential in the NFL at plus 11, which is huge, not necessarily for fantasy purposes if Caleb's not delivering on those turnovers, but it is huge for their prospects of winning football games, which is all that Ben Johnson cares about.
Yeah.
Right? But I do think it's a good bounce back spot for this offense.
They should, man. They should. Should. Love Manungai too, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Young rookie.
Manungai's been great, right?
He's been good. He's been a good compliment.
Blowout spot, but yeah, he's
been
the
a
David
good compliment
Montgomery
to Swift. He's been a good compliment to Swift. No doubt.
For sure.
Been a good compliment to Swift, no doubt. Jay, Alec Pierce. Got to talk about Antoine.
I need to see the Trinity for this. Because, so while you pull it up, one of Ray's love this week is Alec Pierce versus Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are dreadful. Kayshon Boutte did burn them, though, last week for a long touchdown. They were a little bit asleep at the wheel on that one. Now, I don't know if Daniel Jones has Drake May's deep ball accuracy, but talk to the people about where you're at with Alec Pierce, because this is a player, right? I'll be very honest. We have talked about Pierce for a long time because he is consistently on the field and never getting the ball. But if they start getting him the football, he could be a very valuable asset for fantasy because he could have a very stable floor if the targets come his way. How and what is the main reason why you're loving Alec Pierce for this matchup?
Well, one, it's that who do they play this week? Who do they play? Tennessee. I think they give up some of the most downfield passes in the NFL. If you look at just how these players have been used for the Indianapolis Colts over the course of the season, the two highest point scorers are Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman. Those are your top kind of two guys in this offense. But if you look at, and I know Alec Pierce missed 2 games. He missed 2 games. But if you look at in the areas in which they're used, Alec Pierce actually leads this team in Trinity score. Now, he's way below the line. He's got 0 touchdowns on the season, JRich. But if you just look at what he did last week, led the team in targets, led the team in yards. He gets the downfield work last 2 weeks. When he was on the last 2 games, he was on the field. He's got a very defined role. Matt Harmon talked about his targets per route run, some of the things that he does well. If this were Adonai Mitchell and not Alec Pierce, people would have this dude as a top 30 wide receiver in Dynasty. It's just that he's old Alec Pierce. He's Alec Pierce.
Yep.
But Daniel Jones is playing great football. This Colts offense is balanced. It's efficient. They've got weapons everywhere, and he's an absolute monster and nightmare against man coverage because he's got one-on-one. It's just one-on-one. And don't get it twisted. He's athletic as shit. He's fast. He can run. He can do all that. I just like him as a big play downfield option in a game in which they should push the ball downfield and punish Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, you just look to his game log. He hasn't had less than 36 yards the last 5, but more importantly, against Tennessee, they put up 41 points, and he had 4 receptions for 67 yards in that game. So if you think they can put up 41 on Tennessee, which they absolutely can again,
yes,
and they're playing at home in this one, where they score even more points than they do on average relative to on the road. But yeah, this team is playing very good football. The last 5 games they've played, Ray, 33 points, 29 points, 41 points, 31 points, 38 points. This Colts team is scoring a ton of points right now. I think to your credit, Alec Pierce could definitely catch a long bomb. He's averaging almost 20 yards per reception on the season.
Yeah. Somebody asked, where's Tyler Warren? Above the line, 6.7. It's eerily close to Brock Bowers' usage throughout the same number of games from Brock Bowers' rookie season to right now. Tyler Warren is like right there, neck and neck. I think a little ahead of where Bowers was through 7 weeks of his rookie season. So Warren is absolutely delivering. Warren is fantastic. And this Indianapolis Colts team, what are they, 6-1 on the season, Jay?
6-1.
6-1 on the season. 6-1 on the season. Man. Daniel Jones leading the way. All right, JRich, the last thing that we'll touch on before we get out of here today. Let's talk about the Chargers, right? They got 4 viable options. And if you go to that KTC thing, since we're so reactionary, I believe Oronde Gadsden is inside the top 10 values at the tight end position. 2 games, top 10 tight end. Go see where Oronde Gadsden is. on that list. They can't run the ball, or they couldn't run the ball last week. I think they're getting Joe Alt back, the Chargers. How do you navigate this Chargers passing attack when you've got QJ, Keenan Allen looks like the primary, Ladd McConkey, you got a young rookie, Oronde Gadsden. How you navigate this passing attack? Or is this a situation, Jay, where you just got to start off 4, man? You got to start off 4 and pray yours is the one that hits.
Yeah, I mean, Gadsden at this point, last week I said, well, can he do it again? And boy, did he ever.
Did he ever.
Made me look real bad. But I think from the beginning, we kind of said, and it's the same when we talk about some of these other players who are injured. When there's tight ends, you got to just play him. If Cade Otton can get you 5 receptions in a game, you got to play him because, you don't have other options. Maybe you have a Kelsey, maybe you have a Trey McBride. At that point, you're not going to start a Gadsden over them, but you could consider starting him as a flex because he's probably going to see some opportunity. I think this Chargers team has no running game without Omarion Hampton. Hassan Haskins probably not going to play. I believe he's already been ruled doubtful in this game. Joe Alt hopefully comes back. But even Kamani Vidal wasn't very effective, and I don't think he's going to be overly effective against the Minnesota Vikings either. So at that point, what do? You drop back, you pass it a billion times, and you pray that Oronde Gadsden gets 4 or 5 receptions, and at that point, he's fine. The bigger question is always, which receiver do you play? And I think you still just got to play all of them.
You have to start off 3 of them.
Keenan is a must start. And it's just is it going to be a QJ game, or is it going to be a Ladd game? And you just got to roll the dice on both. Because last week it was more of a Ladd game, but QJ was coming off of the concussion, so he ended up just being less involved in the offense, and that's fine. Next game could be a QJ game, and it wouldn't be a Ladd game, and you're just like, you know what? I'll take Ladd's 4 for 40 because it's not an absolute 0 either. So I think in this offense, while it's annoying, at least there's enough volume that we feel like every player is startable.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Because Herbert is capable of 350 yards, at which point he can support 3, potentially 4 weapons. And if Gadsden is the odd one out, that's really the situation where everybody is winning, right? Because if all 3 receivers produce, and especially with where their value's at, and then Gadsden's kind of the odd one out, but he just does kind of okay at tight end, then you're probably fine. But I think you start all 4.
Here are the Chargers the last 2 weeks. You want to see what this usage looks like? This usage pattern, the chart?
That's got to be nuts.
Here go the Chargers. Here goes how all that stuff looks for the Chargers. Gadsden leading the way, 7.67, 20 fantasy points per game last 2 weeks, and we know it was a big week in week 7. Ladd McConkey up next, 7.5, 19 points. Keenan Allen, 6.69. 17 points. And there's QJ way back here. I know he missed a game, right? He missed a game.
Well, it's only the one game, right?
It's the one game.
And his Trinity would be low for that game.
It's 3.05, 11 points, and that was from this week. But over the last 2 weeks, with that one without QJ, it's been pretty consolidated right here at the top between Gadsden, Ladd, and Keenan Allen. I'm with you. Yeah. I think these 3 are must-start options. QJ, he only got 2 passes. One of them went for a touchdown. And he still got you 11 points. So if you're asking me what do I think that the trend looks like, Gadsden is the tight end because the other tight ends don't touch the ball. Keenan Allen is steady Eddie. And Ladd McConkey seemingly has gotten it going here of late. Let me go full season for the Chargers. But, yeah, that's the last 2 weeks for the Chargers. Here they go. This is what it looks like for the full season, JRich. Keenan Allen, QJ still up there, Ladd, and there's Gadsden. All of them, all names printed, all above the line, which lets me know that Justin Herbert is doing his job, at least delivering the ball to the pass catchers, and you don't want anybody else. There's nothing in between there. It's those 4 guys right there.
Yeah, and Hampton when healthy, because Hampton catches a bunch of dump offs.
Well, we don't
think
track,
that's the other.
We don't track the running back in there, but yeah.
But I think that's the other interesting part about this offense, and that's what I think we'll have to monitor when he comes back, is because there was a lot of dump offs to him. Herbert really liked throwing him the ball in the flats. And how does that impact, a Ladd? Does it impact a Gadsden? Does it impact a Keenan? I'm not as worried about Keenan, but does those targets that go to Hampton potentially take away from a Ladd or a Gadsden more specifically? Because that's kind of, I think, the 2 guys will be most affected by that. But that's not till he comes back, which is going to be multiple weeks from now.
There it is. All right, JRich, we have one super chat from Alan. Alan said, thank you very much. I think that was to his question about trading a 26 late first for Rashee Rice. And Allen, I just want to confirm that once again. Absolutely. I would damn near pay any first for Rashee Rice from 2026. I mean, We'll see Mendoza and Love and some of those other guys, but give me Rashee Rice. JRich, hit the music and get us up out of here, man.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in. It is a interesting week with so many teams on bye, but we hope that we prepared you a lot. A big Dynasty show on this one, talking value, talking rookies, talking all kinds of stuff. So we'll get into the preview on Friday, and I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about with the Chargers playing and the Vikings playing, and potentially even the return of Aaron Jones as well.
Aaron Jones, yeah.
Off of IR. So he might play in this game. So definitely check the injury news for that. We got to talk about Lamar coming back. We'll talk about lots of things. But
is
very
Lamar
back?
So is he back this week?
Well, man, the crazy thing is I don't think he's practiced yet. And so that's the concern, is that we don't know if he's been practicing. And especially if he does practice, then we're fine. But if he doesn't, and he's like a game time decision, you got to be nervous. Not that you're starting your Ravens anyways, let's be honest. I'm not really trying to start those Ravens, but they got to win this week, Ray, or at that point,
Derrick Henry versus
division,
Chicago.
man.
Derrick Henry versus Chicago, or Saquon Barkley versus the Giants?
I think it's got to be Saquon. How have we not got a Saquon 200-yard game against the Giants this season?
You watching the NBA, JRich? The association kicked off. Did you watch any NBA?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
We don't talk basketball to the
Where's
playoffs.
your boy LeBron? Why didn't he play? Was he on sabbatical?
He was doing those deadlifts
the
wrong.
NBA season started, man.
That back hurts. He was doing those deadlifts a little wrong. That back hurt. We'll see y'all on Friday. Check out the Trinity on DDFFB. We'll have a fun show on Friday. Enjoy your Wednesday. Much love. We'll see y'all. Peace.